Gentlemen, welcome back to the laboratory of human nature. Today we are going to perform an autopsy on a subject that has confused poets, philosophers, and the average nice guy for centuries. We are talking about desire. Specifically, we are going to decode the mechanism of female addiction. And no, I am not talking about addiction to shoes or chocolate or true crime documentaries. I am talking about how a woman becomes psychologically and chemically addicted to a man. Have you ever wondered why the nice guy who replies to texts, instantly buys flowers, and treats her like a queen often gets placed in the friend zone, while the guy who is unpredictable, slightly arrogant, and focused on himself seems to have women chasing him like he is the last bottle of water in the desert? Society tells you it is because women are complicated. Disney tells you it is because you just haven't been nice enough yet. But biology tells a different story. Today we are going to ignore the fairy tales and look at the raw data. We are going to discuss how to hack the dopamine reward system and become the drug she cannot quit. Let us start with the fundamental error most men make: the predictability trap. Imagine you are watching a movie. In this movie, the hero faces zero challenges. He gets the girl in the first 5 minutes. He defeats the villain with one punch. There is no tension. There is no risk. There is no drama. Would you keep watching that movie? Of course not. You would walk out of the theater and demand a refund because it is boring. Yet this is exactly how most men run their relationships. They try to be the safe, boring movie. They become completely predictable. They send the good morning text at exactly 8 a.m. They answer the phone on the first ring. They agree with everything she says. They are consistent, reliable, and roughly as exciting as a tax audit. They think this is love. But to the female brain, this is sedation. The female brain, like all human brains, is wired to seek patterns, but it is addicted to the disruption of patterns. This is where the concept of intermittent reinforcement comes into play. Think about a slot machine in a casino. If you pulled the lever and won every single time, you would get bored very quickly. The thrill of gambling does not come from winning. It comes from the uncertainty of winning. It comes from the anxiety of the spin and the massive dopamine spike when you finally hit the jackpot after a series of losses. You need to become the slot machine, not the ATM. The ATM is reliable. It gives you what you want every time you put your card in. You appreciate the ATM, but you do not feel passion for it. You do not stay up at night thinking about the ATM. But the slot machine, that is a different story. When you are unpredictable, you trigger a spike of dopamine in her brain. Maybe you text back instantly, maybe you text back in 6 hours. Maybe you are warm and affectionate, maybe you are distant and focused on your work. This variance creates a psychological tension. She starts asking herself questions. Why didn't he reply? Is he busy? Is he with someone else? Did I say something wrong? These questions are the seeds of addiction. When she is thinking about you, she is investing in you. And the more mental energy she invests, the more valuable you become in her eyes. This brings us to the second pillar of addiction: the emotional roller coaster. Modern men are terrified of upsetting women. They have been conditioned to believe that a happy relationship is a flat line of constant positivity. They avoid conflict. They apologize for things they didn't do. They walk on eggshells. This is fatal. You cannot have light without shadow. You cannot have joy without the contrast of anxiety. If you give a woman nothing but validation and comfort, she will eventually grow to resent you. Why? Because she subconsciously realizes that you are seeking her approval. And if you are seeking her approval, that implies she is the prize, not you. Women are hypergamous by nature. They want a man who they perceive as being higher status or higher value than themselves. A man who constantly bends the knee destroys that perception. To create addiction, you must be willing to be the source of both her pain and her pleasure. This sounds dark, but it is simply human psychology. Think about the most intense relationship you ever had. Was it the one where everything was easy? Or was it the one that drove you a little bit crazy? The one where you had to fight for her affection. When you withdraw your attention, it creates a vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. She will step forward to fill it. When you finally give her that validation after a period of coldness, it feels 10 times more rewarding than if you had just given it to her for free. This is the concept of scarcity. Gold is valuable because it is rare. Air is vital, but it is free, so nobody values it until they are choking. Stop being air. Start being gold. Now let's talk about the third element: the mission. Nothing kills attraction faster than a man whose entire world revolves around a woman. If your happiness depends on her mood, you are not a partner, you are a parasite. A woman wants to be a passenger on your journey, she does not want to be the destination. The most addictive men are the ones who have a purpose that is bigger than the relationship. They are men who are building empires, mastering skills, or chasing a vision. When you are focused on your mission, you are naturally unavailable. You are not playing hard to get, you are actually hard to get. This signals high value. It tells her that your time is a scarce resource. It tells her that she has to compete with your mission for your attention. And remember, competition breeds desire. If you drop everything the moment she calls, you are telling her that she is the most important thing in your life. While this sounds romantic in a movie, in reality it places a burden on her that she does not want. She wants a king who is conquering territory, not a court jester who is waiting for her to be amused. Let's discuss the fourth element: investment. There is a cognitive bias known as the sunk cost fallacy or the IKEA effect. We value things more when we have put effort into them. If you buy a table, it is just a table. If you spend 4 hours assembling that table with a tiny Allen wrench and sweating profusely, you will love that table because you suffered for it. Most men do all the work. They plan the dates. They drive the car. They pay the bills. They carry the conversation. They are stealing the opportunity for her to invest. You must allow her to work for you. Let her do things for you. Let her cook for you. Let her change her schedule to meet you. When she invests her time, effort, and emotion into you, her brain has to rationalize that investment. Her brain says, I am doing all this for him, so I must really love him. The more she invests, the harder it is for her to walk away. This is how you create the hook. Finally, we must talk about mystery. In the age of social media, everyone is an open book. Men vomit their feelings, fears, and life story on the first date. They think being vulnerable is the key to intimacy. While vulnerability has its place, premature vulnerability is an attraction killer. The unknown is magnetic. Think about a horror movie. The monster is always scarier when you don't see it. The moment they show the monster in full lighting, it becomes a guy in a rubber suit. You need to be a little bit of a monster in the shadows. Keep some things to yourself. Be vague about your past. Don't answer every question directly. Let her imagination fill in the blanks. Her imagination will always create a version of you that is far more compelling than the reality. When she can't quite figure you out, she becomes obsessed. She wants to solve the puzzle. You become a riddle that she needs to crack. And as long as she is trying to solve you, she is addicted to you. So how do we synthesize all this into a practical strategy? It starts with a mindset shift. You must stop viewing yourself as a beggar asking for love and start viewing yourself as the prize to be won. Stop fearing loss. The man who is willing to walk away holds all the power. If she senses that you are afraid of losing her, she will lose respect for you. And without respect, attraction cannot exist. Be the weather. The weather does not apologize for the storm. It does not ask permission to be sunny. It just is. You must be grounded in your own reality. If you are happy, be happy. If you are annoyed, be annoyed. Do not filter your emotions through the lens of her approval. Understand that her emotions are like waves. They will rise and fall. Do not try to flatten the ocean. Let her feel the chaos. Let her feel the anxiety of not knowing where she stands. And then when the moment is right, give her the relief of your presence. This push and pull, this tension and release is the heartbeat of desire. Gentlemen, the nice guy script is a lie sold to you by people who do not understand biology. It is a script that leads to boredom, resentment, and eventually the friend zone. If you want to be the man she is addicted to, you must be willing to be a little dangerous. You must be willing to prioritize your mission. You must be willing to be unpredictable. You are not being toxic. You are being exciting. You are waking her up from the coma of modern boredom. So turn off the notifications. Focus on your purpose. Let her wonder where you are. Let her earn your attention. And watch how the dynamic shifts. This is not about manipulation. This is about understanding the operating system of human desire. Use this power wisely, or don't. I am not your dad. I am just the guy giving you the cheat codes. Welcome to the addiction.